Ice melts at 0 degrees. Sugar melts at 186. Salt, 801. Diamond, around 3,550. Four solids, all sitting on the same kitchen table, and the gap between them is wild. Because there isn't one kind of solid, there are three. And once you see what's holding each one together, all of it starts to make sense. Okay, so every solid is just particles stuck in place. The only real question is, what's gluing them down? And the answer comes in three flavors. Whole molecules holding hands with weak little forces, charged ions locked in a grid, or atoms welded straight to each other by covalent bonds. The stronger the glue, the harder the solid, the higher the melting point. That's the whole rule. Type 1. Molecular solids. Think ice, think sugar, think dry ice, iodine. Whole molecules sit at each spot in the crystal, and they're held to their neighbors by these wispy little forces. Hydrogen bonds. Van der Waals, weak stuff. Which is why ice melts in your hand, why sugar melts on a stove. The molecules themselves are perfectly fine. It's the glue between them that gives up first. Soft, low melting. Most don't conduct anything. That's the molecular family. Type 2. Ionic solids. Table salt. Sodium chloride. A grid of plus charges and minus charges locked together by raw electrostatic pull. And that pull is strong. Salt doesn't melt until over 800 degrees. The grid is locked in tight. Try to bend it and nothing moves. But hit it the right way with a hammer and it cleaves clean in half. Because the second you shift one row of ions sideways, you line up plus next to plus. Same charges touching. The grid repels itself apart, hard but brittle. And then type 3, covalent network solids. And this is a different universe. No separate molecules, no ions floating around, just atoms, directly bonded to other atoms, all the way across the whole crystal. The entire thing, from one corner to the other, is technically one giant molecule. Diamond is the headline act. Every single carbon atom locked to four others, tetrahedral, rigid, in every direction. To break a diamond apart, you have to snap covalent bonds, billions of them, all at once. That's why it doesn't give up until you're past 3,500 degrees. Quartz plays the same game with silicon and oxygen. Same trick, same kind of insane stability. Sand, glass, all of it. But here's the thing. Diamond isn't hard because it's carbon. It isn't hard because of covalent bonds. Look at graphite. Also pure carbon. Also covalent bonds. Strong ones. Even stronger than the ones in diamond, technically. But graphite stacks its carbon atoms into flat sheets. The sheets themselves are tough. The space between them held only by those wispy Van der Waals forces. Again. So the sheets just slide. That's pencil lead. That's a lubricant. Soft enough that you rub it onto paper without even trying. Same element. Same kind of bond. One is the hardest natural substance on Earth. The other you can scratch with your fingernail. The only difference is the geometry. That's the real secret. In diamond, the bonds don't just go sideways. They go up, down, forward, back, every direction. There's no flat plane to slide on. Push on a diamond, and there's nowhere for the atoms to go. You'd have to snap thousands of bonds at the exact same time. So instead, nothing moves at all. So the three types of solids aren't really about what the particles are. They're about the glue, weak forces, electric grids, or full covalent welds. Ice, salt, diamond, same word. Three completely different things underneath. And diamond sits at the very top. Not because of what it's made of, but because of how every single atom is trapped in 3 dimensions, with nowhere to run.